The new First Minister of Scotland, Humza Yousaf, or Useless, should be busy dealing with the SNP crisis. But clearly, he's not that busy because he's taking the British government and Westminster to court because they blocked his gender recognition reform bill. Yeah, all the flip-flopping during his leadership campaign, Humza Yousaf, and the other candidates, obviously Humza himself kept saying, yeah, that battle between Nicola Sturgeon and Westminster Parliament over the gender recognition bill, essentially Westminster blocked it because that legislation in Scotland was not just a domestic issue, it affects the whole of the Equalities Act that belongs to the whole of our kingdom and the whole of Britain. And the problem with that is that when he was asked during the leadership election campaign, Humza Yousaf was going around saying, well, maybe it's not the right time to fight back yet. And then the next day he changed his mind, saying, yeah, I will follow Nicola Sturgeon's legacy. And then the following day he said, we are looking into it. But now he thinks he's doing left-wing populism because the whole of the media attention is on Nicola Sturgeon and her husband, Peter Murrell, and all the others. And maybe Humza Yousaf is going to get involved. His name might come up during this police investigation and everything else, the financial corruption. I think he's trying his best to distract the public and the media by saying, guys, I think it's best to now take action against the Westminster blocking our bill. So he's taking the British government to court over this issue. It's going to massively backfire, and it's already backfiring. We're going to give you some details about what's going on here today. So, Humza Yousaf came out to say that I made abundantly clear throughout the course of the leadership contest that my starting principle is to challenge the Westminster veto over the GRR bill, the Gender Recognition Reform Bill. You can imagine, of course, that I've been having intense conversations in that regard, and I'll be making an announcement on the potential challenge of the Section 35 order imminently, given that deadline. So he has, I believe, about a week left. I think it's the 19th of April to see what's going to happen. But he says, I made it clear during the campaign. Did you, though? You kept changing your mind every 2 seconds, depending on who was interviewing you during that election campaign. It's fascinating. Obviously, his actual belief is this. That was the truth, that he would try his best to sort out this the gender bill. But some of the people who backed you, Humza, I don't think they're going to be too happy about this, if you know what I mean. So he's claiming that, of course, I don't really care about women's rights. I don't really care about, all these protesters who keep shouting at me every time I have my First Minister's question time and everything else. We got feminists left, right, and centre kicking off. J.K. Rowling is kicking off during the term that Nicola Sturgeon had. We had these images saying Nicola Sturgeon, destroyer of women's rights, and they thought that Nicola's gone, so maybe things will get better. Well, of course not, because these idiots have elected another Nicola Sturgeon in trousers in the name of Humza Yousaf. He's not going to give up the fight. But has it got the public backing? It's not even close. It's not even in the margin of error when it comes to opinion polls or surveys. For example, you can see the panel basically did this research, Public View. What should the Scottish government do in response to the UK government blocking the gender recognition reform bill? 51% say they must drop the gender recognition bill completely. So the majority believe that Humza should just give up. 28% believe that they should try to find a compromise solution with the UK government. That is also quite sensible. Okay, fair enough. 21% believe that Humza Yousaf should challenge the UK government's decision in court. 21% is even less than the support for the SNP in Scotland. That is absolutely embarrassing. You don't even have the full backing of your own party and party members and supporters. And you want us to believe that this is the right decision and you're going to win the battle. Good luck, by the way, in court, Humza Yousaf. Now, Downing Street had come out to release his statements saying that the Secretary of State for Scotland made an order under Section 35 of the Scotland Act 1998, preventing the Scottish Parliament's gender recognition reform bill from proceeding to royal assent. This was done after thorough and careful consideration of all the relevant advice and the policy implications. This legislation would have an adverse effect on the operation of Great Britain-wide equalities protections and other reserved matters. So, not only if this goes through, women in Scotland will be in danger, which is also already a big issue, but the whole of Great Britain will be in massive trouble because it undermines the Equalities Protections and the Equalities Act and everything else, which means there'll be a lot of complicated situations. Doesn't mean that it's going to override it completely. Doesn't mean that all legislation in England or Wales will be basically the same thing, but the complications will be creating confusion, whether it's in public spaces when it comes to public toilets or women's sport or prisons or anything else like that. And of course, when it comes to medical procedures, it's the NHS will be, or the NHS already confused people anyway. Imagine how much things are going to get more difficult for the staff of the NHS if they don't even know if they're dealing with a man or a woman. So good luck with that. But the whole point is you can't really do these things. But he's doing it because he wants to distract the attention. He wants to shift the attention towards something else, to make himself some sort of Robin Hood character, the hero of the people. You can't be the hero of the people if the majority are against you on this issue. But keep going. It's entertaining. And it's brilliant. I'm actually quite impressed how Westminster decided to actually stay strong and stable on this issue. Because when we reported, weeks ago, a couple of months ago, that Westminster is about to block Nicola Sturgeon's bill, there were so many people, even on this channel, commenting saying, I believe it when I see it, it's not going to happen. They're just saying words. The British government are not really that strong, but they did it. And I'm glad that they did it, but it's not going to be the end of the story. That's what we're going to be here to report the whole thing every single day to keep you guys posted. I'm Mahyar, Tousi, and we are the media.